This is a J. Clyde production.
Domingo, peace, brother. Thank you for coming, and it's on you.
My name is Domingo. It's Domingo Padilla, but I go by Domingo. Been in this, it's gonna be 36 years this year. Since 1987, produced damn near everybody. Rakim, Fat Joe, Big Pun, KRS-One, Shaquille O'Neal. Man, I can never ever remember everybody, but so I've been producing that long, and been nominated for Latin Grammy, regular Grammy. And I own MediaFamous.com, own That'sHipHopMusic.com, and very well versed on the business of music. So, I'll say that's really it in a nutshell, bro.
My name is Shawnte Period, and I'm a music producer. Started back in 1992 professionally. Was in a group down south. We moved from Virginia to New York. We were signed to Big Beat Atlantic. Worked with the Beat Nuts, T-Ray, a bunch of people, took me under their wing, showed me, obviously I was rapping, but then as a producer, I produced for Mos Def, Black Star, Helter Skelter, and Smith & Wesson, Monch, Artifacts, Bush Babies, a bunch of different people. Have Drumstacks.com, a sound design company, an advice company as well. And it's great to be here with you. I know a lot of the guys judge a lot of the events that we have. And it's definitely going to be great seeing y'all in person, but we have to do this for now. So appreciate y'all.
What's up, y'all? Glad to be here. I'm AJ Halpern. I'm the owner-operator of Voodoo Shack recording studio in Silver Spring, Maryland. And I'm also the principal for music imprint Monumental Music. Monumental has gotten placements including main theme on international TV shows, including LA Inc. and spots on UFC and other high-profile shows. I got my music placed with Baek Ji-young, who is basically the Madonna of K-pop. And I've done remixes for Hot Shell Ray and things that have hit the Hot 100 on Billboard and hit number 17 on Billboard. I've worked working demos with Ariana Grande, and maybe next year, Ariana, you know what I mean? And I've worked lightly with Akon and Steve Aoki, and DJ Sneak and Brick Squad, and long ago worked with Megalodon and Arius and Stacy Kidd, Zab and Zenby, Method Man, Sharky, Baby Grand, Joski. And so all over the place as far as beat manufacturing and also vocal, even getting into the top line and the lyrics sometimes, which is a lot of different challenges. I teach music. I'm deeply invested in all the A to Z of the music. Voodoo Shack, peace, y'all.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Good evening. My name is Vice Soletric. I'm an MC, hip-hop MC, producer, based out of Lorain, Ohio, little town about 30 minutes west of Cleveland. Go Browns, you know what I'm saying? Also, in the hip-hop space, I'm also a graphic designer, talent agent for Breakpoint Booking, which is a boutique agency based out of LA, and also co-founder of United Grind, which is a multifaceted platform for artists and producers. We curate shows, we promote artists, we do just about anything to help out independent artists, as well as, be a part of things like this to reach out and give knowledge. Been doing this for about 10 years, with all those things that I listed that I do in some capacity. I've worked with a lot of great artists, a lot of great producers. As far as MC, and I have about 3 albums out myself. Just put out an album with DJ Flash, who was actually the official DJ for Little Brother, real dope project. In the graphic design space, I've worked with several artists doing covers, things of that nature. Talent agent space, we work with dope artists. I booked a tour for Sky Zoo last year, worked with Benny the Butcher and many other really great artists. So just say all that to say that I'm keeping busy, and even during this COVID time, trying to diversify, getting a little bit more into the producing again. So just happy to be here and happy to build with you guys.
Cool, yeah. So it's funny, we all work in an environment where not a lot of people know my real name or your real name. I'm wondering if Low even knows my real name. But I was DJing really in the clubs and the mixtape scene in DC in the 90s and started working with different artists. That's actually how I originally met Olo when I was at college. Started a record label called Trilogy Records, which some of you guys may have run across. One of the three founders, a gentleman by the name of JJ Jennison, who founded Foundation Media, who works with a lot of artists now. And really just been a hip hop head forever. Always loved it. Started producing as a result of DJing like so many others. And really started to find my swing in kind of middle school hip hop. And that's really what I gravitated towards, what I spun. And really what I ended up trying to aspire to be from a producer standpoint, but from a DJing standpoint, really gigged out all over, was on the X Games circuit for a number of years. So DJed the X Games for a number of years and then made some stops on the Vans Warped Tour and a couple others. But when I came back home and got settled, I started recording custom verses for mixtapes and honestly just fell in love with the recording aspect of it and started building studios. And when I say building studios, I mean, you know, started with a mic next to a computer where you had to mute everything while the person was recording before you could play it back, all the way to what Sleepy Hollows is today, which is a completely digital and analog studio that really services everything from corporate gigs and corporate media to voiceover talent, working with people like the Discovery Channel and large corporations, AOL, ESPN, done bits for SportsCenter, but then also just getting down to the actual recording artists pretty much across every genre. So happy to be here, especially on this panel, man. I'm glad I got to go last and not first, so people hopefully forget about everything else that was just said, because it's an impressive panel, man. So pleased to be here with you, and Love, thanks for having me, man.
Well, it's an honor to be here. Man, you guys are legendary in your own rights and everything, man. I'm just a hip-hop head. I'm originally from Ohio, but I grew up in Virginia, Hampton, Newport News. And I started out just doing graffiti. I'm here representing like the visual artist and everything. I did everything just visually, like, so I did graphic design work, illustration, and I'm here to kind of like just speak on behalf of like doing album covers. That's my whole mission statement, is I wanted to just bring high art back into music and kind of, and that's just my main thing, is to try to bring high art back into music and everything. Work with a couple of great people. A lot of cash. I've been hanging around the BeatKonductaz for some years now and everything, even though I live in Georgia now, but I've military brat lived all over the world, and I've had a chance to paint all over the world. So I'm just honored to be here, and hopefully you guys pick something up from me. Thank you.
Being a DJ and producer myself, I think one of the biggest questions or one of the biggest concerns for a producer today in 2021 is, how can I be heard by the people that I want to be heard by, right?
Shit.
Yeah. I'll pick up on it because Domingo, he mentioned about going to the studio, and that the studio is where a lot of us got our work. Like different people, we would invite each other to the studio. Like let's say 88 Keys, we would roll together, or even Domingo. I met Domingo through Matt Finger. You know what I mean? At a studio, I think it's Power Play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the value of actual studios. Obviously, we have 2 studio owners here. That was a key point. But then, because a lot of the studios went away, and then now, the new studios are coming up, which is actually, great and stuff like that. But being that we don't always have the physical touch to be able to interact with them, the thing is, you have to respect that everyone has 24 hours in a day. And like Domingo said, you have to think about this person's time. And, like I'll get stuff and it's like, friends of mine that I just want to listen to. And it's like, I called a friend back today. He sent me something 2 weeks ago. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to definitely figure out how to interact with them. The one thing I would say too is try to figure out their circle too. You may not necessarily be able to get directly to the artist, but you could get to someone that artist, that boy or somebody who they trust their ear, the DJ of, stuff like that. But add value to them. Don't just go to them like a user, and say, hey, I just want you to do this. Figure out ways that you can assist that person and, potentially build a relationship and open up doors for you that way.
Yeah, I agree with him on that. It's, also if you got something to bring to the table that they can be useful for, it's a good, barter system with them. I mean, you will meet artists that'll want you to pay them to rock on your beats, or if they love it, like Sean said, you bring something to offer. So there's ways to get it done. They're not always easy, but I mean, unfortunately, if you don't have a name, sometimes that doesn't play in your advantage, because they see you as, oh, you need me, I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you do it correct, it could be pulled off. I would never say, don't pay an artist, because this is a money game. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to work on a project, I could get an artist to do something with me faster if I pay them than asking for a favor. You know what I'm saying? And even well-known artists that I've worked with, that I'm very cool with, if I ask them, hey, I'm working on a project, they'll do it for me, but it'll take, like he says, like you send it out and you get it back like a month or 2 later. But if I paid them, I get it back like a week later. So, and plus, I never ask for free because I want to get paid too. So if that same artist comes to me and they do it for free for me, I can't ask them, yo, you got to pay me. So I'd rather, let's do it the right way. Let's keep it business. Even if you know the artist real good, and yo, I'm working on a project, I can give you this much money. So this way, if they come to you, they can't get it for free. So, like I said, there's different ways to do things, man. And like I said, there's very well-known artists that I've done things with them, and I'm very good friends with them, but I mean, we rock like family. But when it comes down to working, it's business, It's like, yo, here's $1,000, do this for me. And when they come to me, I need a beat, okay, give me $1,000. So that's a way to do it. But I mean, I know we went off a little because we were talking about how to get to the artist, but that's another way, And then when you establish that with the artist, it builds a relationship,
Sure.
Yeah, I want to jump in here too. Everything they said is directly on point, so that'll save me some time to get into that veteran smoke. But a couple other points that I was just thinking about listening to them was, timing is sort of everything, because I guess we sort of have to apply this to today's situation where a lot of stuff is done via, the net, and we're not really seeing people in person. A lot of times these artists, they'll tell you, I'm looking for beats, send me beats. You gotta wait. Like, you don't want to just send out beats randomly and thirstily to somebody who's not looking for beats. You're wasting your time. I just saw the other day, RJ Payne was like, look, I'm recording my next album, send me beats. He put the email address up there. You really just have to keep your ears open, your eyes open, ears open, and be ready to be able to get beats, which means you always got to keep working. You always got to have new, fresh stuff. You got to have variety. You got to have a little bit of diversity. One thing that they spoke on too that I agree with is even now, it's better if you can have some type of in-person connectivity with the artist that you're trying to get to. So whether they're performing and you go to the show and somehow you find yourself backstage, or you holler at them after the show, introduce yourself respectively and ask them if it's okay, to send them beats, and get a contact email, get a contact phone number that you can follow up on. I've done this for years and it's really worked for me. So I would just add to that, be ready, and you got to be patient too. It's funny, I want to just throw this little story in real quick. Artist by the name of J.R. Swift, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with. He's an up-and-coming guy from North Carolina. He just produced the whole album for Elzai. And I talked to him the other day, and I said, well, how did you pull that off? And he said that he actually randomly, now we don't want you to spam, but he did say he randomly just sent him an email, or not an email, a direct message with a beat. Elzai loved the beat. He hit him back, and that's literally how that was sparked. But he had to be patient as well, because they actually didn't even record the album for another 2 years. And he didn't even reach out to him for another 2 years to do it either. So, you just got to keep working and building relationships and respect people's time, just like Sean J said, and, working like that and have some integrity with how you go about it.
And picking up on J.R. Swift, right? He was one of the only producers that Westside Gunn actually picked. Westside Gunn said, I'm looking for beats. The same thing you said. And, you saw this as Westside Gunn sitting in the room with maybe his engineer, whatever, and then he shouted him out, like, man, like, of all these beats, I loved his beats. And then from that point, it started a relationship where he's worked with multiple people in the camp. So there is no one way. But you just have to approach people like you would want to be approached. You know what I mean? You don't want someone stalking you, but yet and still, and you have to come with value. The number one thing is make sure you're sending them something that you think that they would like. You know what I mean? Like, I may do, let's say, boom bap stuff, so I'm not going to necessarily send that to Drake. Like, you have to also take a evaluation of your own skills. And sometimes you don't necessarily want to do upper level pop stuff or, whatever, with trap stuff or whatever. Like, decide who you want to be as a producer first, and then that will help you narrow down who to go to as an artist. So that's what I say.
And just to piggyback on that, Sean, so JR is my man. That's one of my good homies. That day where the email was open and he got his beats through, he texted me like, "Hey man, like this is what's happening. Make sure you get some beats over to him." I was at work at the time. I was in a meeting. By the time I got to it, the email was full. I couldn't get anything through. So timing is everything, man.
For sure.
Yeah, shout out J.R. Swift, man. He came to the Brooklyn battle. I don't know if you remember that, Sean.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, right? And he came in and played some beats that blew everybody away, man. So yeah, he's a nasty dude. Let's talk to AJ a little bit, man. AJ and Neil, studio owners, studio guys. Tell us a little bit about split sheets. That's something that I think everyone needs to talk about. Split sheets.
It's good to get the agreement out on the table, even if it's on a napkin. Even if it's just up in the air, like, and it's said because you said it. Like, there's nothing worse than getting to the end of a project in a state of misunderstanding. It's very wrong to do a lot of work and get ghosted, for instance. It's very necessary to put the best split sheet forward. And most gigs these days kind of have the split sheet as a part of getting you into the gig. Like even in the way that gigs are posted, have the necessary items of the split sheet already down, just on the header. It's all about speed. It's all about efficient operation. You have to know what they just said, because it's a lot of hurry up and wait. You're waiting for that opportunity, and once it comes, you needed to have it done 6 minutes ago. You know, like there's no time to waste. And so that means that any of the clogs in your system, any of the clogs in your uh, splits, sheets, or any, you know, one thing gets fixed and the gig doesn't fly. You know, because there's 100,000 people in line waiting behind you. You know, and so it's really kind of a synergistic thing when actually something gets played. You know, when studio magic happens, you know, that's really glorious. And the first element of it is who gets what. You know, you know, collabs these days are very necessary. You know, especially online. You can work with folks all over the world in the course of a day, and you know, misunderstandings, you know, are the worst part of it, because then the gig doesn't move forward. You know, these are necessary items. You know, have your ASCAP, have all your publishing registered, ready to go. You know, because when it comes to time to actually agree on stuff, there's no time to waste. You know, I've tasted both. You know, there's a lot of room for error in this business.
Yeah, I'd tack on to that. You know, people's memories tend to get fuzzy as time goes on, and a couple of who spoke talked about how time can pass between when a beat is accepted and taken and even recorded, or ends up getting you know, put on an album, and the album actually gets released. A lot of time can pass, so getting all that out of the way in terms of the paperwork, the business side, it's not always the fun side, but it's necessary. And, you know, for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a producer, an MC, a studio engineer, like getting your paperwork right. And I always tell people, if you want it to be a business, everybody wants to make money. Domingo said this is about money, it's about money. Everybody wants to make money. If you want it to be your business, you got to treat it like a business. And there's so many people out here that just don't understand that aspect of it. And they're the ones that are, oh, I was, you know, supposed to get this or whatever. And the only other thing I would say is, and I think somebody's going to touch on it later on the panel when you start talking about points on an album and things like that. With when you get to a certain caliber of artist, you got to recognize value in points versus like getting a one-time payment. And if nobody's seen it, just Google. There's a clip going around with 50 Cent talking about his relationship, I think, with Shy, and how much money he missed out on because he went for like the quick money of the studio, and how much he thought he was owed for that versus getting points on Get Rich or Die Trying. And it was multiple six figures as a result. So I would just say, if you want this to be your business, treat it like a business. Yeah,
and to add on to that, I have a saying: you want to be in the music business, learn the business of music. Because what he just said, a lot of these artists, I mean, me owning MediaFamous.com, which is music distribution, I see it all the time. And, you know, Vice is a client, and I watch a lot of people that come in, they distribute music, and that's all they do. Like, they're happy with their song being on iTunes. They're happy with seeing their name on Spotify. They think, oh, I made it. No, you didn't make it. Because if I asked you, did you sign up for ASCAP? What is that? Did you sign up for Sound Exchange? What is that? What's BMI? What's, you know, like, what's Spotify for artists? You would be amazed how many emails I answer on the support level for people where they go, hey, I'm not on Spotify, you know, I can't find myself. And I go, well, did you sign up for Spotify for artists? Because you can claim yourself as an artist and you can follow your own stats up to, like, live. These artists don't know none of this stuff. And, like, as far as splits, but pardon me, you know, gentleman with the studio, you know, I forgot your name, but these artists, they sit in the studio, and if me and you write a song, exactly what the other gentleman said, you need to get them splits right there on the spot. Like, you know, if you know the game, like if I do a record with KRS-One, I already know it's 50-50, and he knows the business. But if you're doing it with a new up-and-coming kid, he don't understand that, you know, I'm a songwriter, you're a songwriter. We're both creators. So in the splits, that's 50-50. You know what I'm saying? And then point structures on a song, they don't know none of this. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely, like, a lot of these, and I know I keep saying kids, but artists that think they know the business, they need to take time out, sit down and learn that it's not just music, it's more than music. Like I wrote a book and I'm almost finished with it called Publishing as Your Real Estate in Music, because that's your most valuable part. Yeah, I could, for instance, I could get paid, let's say, $10,000 to do a record with, I'll use KRS-One again as an example. I could get paid that to do it, but my publishing is worth more than $10,000 in the long run, because a lot of artists don't know that publishing money is lifetime, and you can pass that down to your kids, pass it to you know, whatever, generational money. But that $10,000 will come, you'll go pay bills, whatever, and everything is gone. So a lot of these artists don't understand the value of music. There's value in music if you know the business, you know. And I can take that same beat, and a matter of fact, the MC, because I did the MC with KRS, I owned a percentage in Drake's record, All Me, because Drake sampled the MC for All Me in a certain part of the song. So now, when Drake, you know, obviously that Drake sells, so I get a percentage of every sale on All Me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the smart business of owning your publishing. Because if I didn't own it, I wouldn't get none of that. So a lot of these artists have to learn all that. There's that part of the game that's more valuable. And I could take that same MC beat and license it to a movie for $100,000. Now that $10,000 turned into $100,000, and that $100,000 could turn into $1 million if you play it right. So there's a lot behind the scenes on the game, you know, with placements and royalties and all that. And
I did not know you made that, bro. I did not know you made that joint. That's like one of my favorite KRS-One joints, bro.
Oh, thanks, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know you didn't know that.
I think I know. I remember you mentioning that one time, but
Yeah.
I know you work with it, but I didn't know that particular.
Yeah. I've done a lot of stuff with KRS, bro. A lot of stuff, and I mean, you know, he's an interesting dude.
If I can throw this in real quick, man, because I think it'll be really a jewel for everybody that's listening, especially since we're talking about splits. I just want to put y'all on to this company. They were actually a sponsor for one of our events last year. They're called The Labs. If you go to thelabs.com, THELABZ.com, if you're not familiar with them, this is a company that actually, their whole thing, it's hard for me to really explain it because I'm not an expert in it, but basically, long story short, they do splits automatically. It's like an account where you and everybody that's on a song log in, and it automatically develops the splits for you as you create the song. And it's really incredible, but you can really get more information about that at thelabs.com. So if anybody's listening and they want to learn about splits and they want to find like a new age way of keeping track of that, check them out. It's fire.
There's also songsplits.com.
Yeah.
They've been around too. They actually approached me. They want to integrate their song split model into Media Famous, so artists can do their splits right there on the site. So it's a good thing to have. Even Labs, like I just looked at it. I didn't know they existed, but it's a good thing to have because these little things help artists learn about the game. You know.
And to build on the splits, obviously that's an amazing solution. The key thing is too to just, even if you find yourself in an unsophisticated scenario, you know what I mean, just, you know, home studio or, you know, local studio, whatever, keep notes of just light notes of who's doing what, like contributions in there, because your memory goes away when he's like, no, well, I came up with that chorus and I did. No, it's just a little light, nothing deep, just so that you can have the points to be able to reference, you know, when you need that information.
Yeah,
on Labs, it literally keeps track of every single contribution, the percentage. It's like built on some type of blockchain technology. It's crazy.
Okay.
You have to check it out. Yeah, it keeps track, like what you were just talking about. Like if somebody gets a song, it says, "Oh, Vice put in the verse," and then it'll say Domingo added the drums on the beat. Like you can actually do a workflow on this platform. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I just seen that, and all I was gonna say is that what Sean J said is always good, even if you write it down, because believe it or not, a record could blow up years later. You know, you always got that one friend that'll say, "Yo, I was in the studio with you, and I told you put that word the. I should get this." So it's always good, you know, because you always got that one friend that want to be like, "Yo, I was there." and they want to claim, yo, that hi-hat, I told you how to put that. So writing it down is definitely a good idea from the beginning.
So can I? It's almost a question. Let's say for Domingo, in your experience, like obviously we experienced it where information was free. People would be in the studio, and in particular A&Rs and people in those scenarios. Be in the studio, everybody, just do this, and an idea, but they wouldn't try to claim it as an ownership. Now everybody's, add this. And now your one beat as a producer, you come in and 5 people then add it to your song, or said, hey, add this sample. Instead of coming back to you to finish the song, a lot of times people will take yours, core part, and then get their friend or the A&R will add their part. And then so everybody's chasing after the percentages of the song. So you have to be conscious that even if you have a song out there, some other people may come along and add to it. And then do you get upset about, like, it just a lot, now if you on a Drake record and 10 people contributed to it, you best be okay with that. You know what I mean? So
you know what?
You gotta figure that out.
The Drake, thank God, is just that he sampled the MC. But if you look at the writers, there's like, yo, dude, I swear to you, like 20 writers. So I don't even know who's claiming what. All I know is that Drake he didn't come to me because I don't really know him, but his people cleared it on my end, and I found out about it because I won an ASCAP award for it. That's the way I found out. Like, I got this award in the mail. I was like, what's this? And they're like, oh, you won an award for Drake, call me. And I was like, oh shit. Then I got this big ass plaque in the mail, and I was like, okay, well, good looking out, Drake. But what you're saying is, I recently had that scenario. I'm working on this album with an artist from New Zealand, like as we speak. He asked me to reproduce some of the songs, like, cause whatever, he had a falling out with the producer. So I'm remixing these songs for him. But there's this one particular song he loved. He's like, bro, can you add this? And I said to him, and Sean, you could probably relate to this. I said, the one pet peeve of a producer is if you touch their beat. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm not touching the kid's beat, because that's the last thing I need is for somebody to say, Domingo stole my beat, he took my sample, he did this. So I never recommend touching anybody's beat. Mixing is different. You're mixing it. You're not really changing nothing. You might be making it sound better. Who knows? But and we come from the same lane, Sean. I really, I know your work. You know what I'm saying? We know Mad Fingers. We done did things together. So, from when, and I hate the term where we come from, but where we come from, you don't touch a producer's beat. That's the last thing to do. I've had somebody change a snare in a song. I was like, yo, hold up, dog. That's not my sound. My sound is in hard snares. Like, you can't be putting the 808 shit in my beat. I don't use those. You know what I'm saying? And like, for instance, there's another artist that I produced. His name is Paleface Picasso. I don't know if everybody had heard of him, but he's from Indiana. So we did a song, and Cuss mixed it. Cuss came out to where I live. We mixed it, and the artist's cousin, who knows nothing about music, decides to go in the studio with the song back in Indiana, sends me this song with all this rock music on it. So I called Paleface like, hey, yo, hold up. Why did dude put this rock dude screaming on my shit? Like, yo, that's not, oh yeah, but he felt he was doing good. And that's the worst mistake you can make with a producer, is touching their music. So I never recommend touching unless that producer's sitting right there with you and says, yo, why don't you see what you could do with this? Then that's different. But to take it randomly and change, nah, you can't do that, dude. That's violation.
Yeah. And I mean, and from where we come from, now people will do that to you. So, prepare your mind for that. So they've done it. They've done it. You know what I'm saying? They've done it. And, at the end of the day, it's either you let it go or you just express like, nah, dude, change it back. But it's happened, and it's gonna keep happening. I know it. For sure.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't want to turn it into no dissertation or nothing, man, but I always got to look through, showing my age or whatever, but I always I've had a chance to do a couple of album covers and work with, done party flyers, the whole nine, but I always tell the artists, whoever I'm working with, it's like, spend your money. Please spend your money. If it's a project I like, I'll do it. But you got to put in, just the presentation is, just be prepared to give your customers or your listeners a better experience. If you have good visuals that accompany, your dope music, you put all this time and effort into your music, and you have a black label, a white label. It's cool. I mean, I can dig it. I think I have to look at it in the lens where you can compare it to like rock music from the 70s and the 80s, early 80s. Me as a kid, I would spend hours listening to my pop's vinyl records, and I think like I'll say my hero is Pedro Bell. He's a in-house artist for Funkadelic for George Clinton. He created these visual masterpieces that were, a lot of people, other artists would say they were scribbly or whatever, but me as an artist, it created an atmosphere, it created an environment, it created a whole world that became synonymous with the music. And I look at it as, it could just be the artist in me, but I look at it as, man, you're paying respecting your listener even more. You know what I'm saying? If you spend the time and give them a whole experience. And that's, I look at it, like I said, with like rock music. Hip hop had a rough time when it came up. Record labels really didn't put that much money into it, to giving people budgets to do that. In a perfect world, I would say, like, gosh, all the old school graffiti artists should have been making album covers, for the dope ass music they put out. I just really, that's my part of it, just respecting your listeners and everything, and kind of giving them a grand experience. And that's my whole mission statement. I'm trying to bring that back and go from there.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, go. You go.
Okay, I'll speak. I want to jump in on that too, because I'm a graphic designer myself. I do covers and stuff. Definitely, man. Like I think nowadays the artwork aspect is more important because everything is social media. People see your artwork before they listen to your music, and they see your artwork before they listen to your music. A lot of times they decide if they're going to listen to your music, whether or not your artwork is dope or not. So the artwork is completely complete. You have to put as much time into your presentation and your artwork. Even as a producer, like, I'm seeing different creative ways that producers are presenting their beats and presenting their styles, on the internet. But yeah, definitely the artwork is crucial. Super crucial right now, so I definitely respect that part of the game and where you come from, being an OG in that part of the game.
Yeah,
I think that the artwork suffers the same kind of fate as the music itself, because before, with the vinyl record, you're dealing with a physical medium, so it was like the disc held the music, so obviously you have that over there playing while you're looking at this art. You know what I mean? You're looking at the credits, you're looking at all the different things, and from a digital standpoint, it would just be awesome if someone actually saw the artwork, the credit, all of the different things. But then at the end of the day, the people who consume music now, they don't necessarily always care to the degree. I agree with you with the art, the visual. Like they're going to see that before your music now, right? It's like going in a record store. We've all bought records because of how the record looks. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm happy for that side. It's coming back to that. It's just like what you said with high art. It's just, I applaud you for that, your mission, because that is such a crucial part of music, and you can't even separate the two, because the packaging is and how it looks and how it. I mean, we all remember Michael Jackson, with the afro and all this stuff off the wall. Like, I remember that where I was in my grandmother's house where my aunt had it. Like, the visuals tie you into like the emotional experience of hearing the music. So I applaud you for that.
And I wanted to add on to what Kevin is saying about taking it back to the artwork. Interesting. If you give the fan an experience, I mean, nowadays their attention span is that of a rock. So it's like they see you, like Sean said, they see your visual, hear your music. Next day, they don't even know who you are. But if you give them dope artwork, like they see it online, social media, like Vice said, it keeps them interested to say, okay, well the album's dropping this day. Like, okay, like let's use Griselda for instance. Their artwork is always some eclectic, psychedelic looking shit, right? So it keeps their fans interested. And even though Westside, his fan base is crazy from a long time ago, but his artwork always had people like, yo, that's just kind of bugged. You know what I'm saying? So if you catch their attention with the artwork, they're gonna say, okay, like Sean, for instance, when you went digging, right, for records, you always seen this artwork on the album, you go, that shit gotta have something, because that artwork is crazy.
Exactly.
Same
and either you're disappointed or
right. It can go either way. You know what I'm saying? Like me, like I have a big, huge Latin collection of Latin samples, right? So I learned, there's a few I dug up and was like, oh, this shit's whack. But I learned, like, okay, if dude is standing in a bunch of palm trees with this circle around his friggin' body and he looks like he's riding a horse with a vest on, that got some shit. And I was perfect. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely, I agree with Kevin 1,000%. Like, if you make something visually interesting, you catch their eye, they're going to say, let me see what this sounds like, because the artwork is dope, maybe the music's dope. Now, chances are, it might be, it might not be, but we definitely, the visual experience has to come back to a point where it keeps these fans interested.
Yeah. And even expanding the brand beyond, because obviously we don't have album covers anymore. We have, the digital art. But look at like what Westside did with his artwork. He actually, I saw this. I mean, obviously all of us probably saw it. He made like rugs, expand the brand of the art to where it's like obviously you have the T-shirts, but like figured out ways to take that art to even levels beyond the music. You know what I mean?
I get into that. I've told several artists that. I said, when you get a package from me, I was like, I'll let you use the artwork, man, but you use it. Don't just look at it because it's going to be on an iPod or a phone. I said, it's merchandise, T-shirts, stickers, anything else you could think of. Those are the things that bring in your customers. You know what I'm saying? They make them feel a part of you. And if you show them some respect, other than just giving them a name written across it, give them something visual to look at. If they got a shirt, something it brings and it makes an attachment with it.
Yeah,
right.
In 2015, we put out the Big Pun Bronx Legends Never Die CD, and I really hired this comic book artist. He drew Pun as a comic book character. Looked crazy. We put it on a shirt. The shirt sold more than the CD. You know what I'm saying? The CD sold. I did it for Pun's family, and I made them a good amount of money. And then we made plaques, like the plaques you would see for artists. We made custom-made plaques for the people that bought it with that image. So when you have an interesting image, you could throw that damn near anywhere. Like Sean said, you can make rugs. Eric Sermon has his rug company. Like, he makes rugs for artists. You know what I'm saying? So and I think marketing wise, Westside is a genius because he slaps his shit on everything. He could probably slap his shit on fake nails and chicks will buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about how you market it, and if you got a good visual image, people will bite into that all day. With cannabis, I did those full spectrum dominance projects. We did Curb Your Ego, the saying, with his C, and we
Yeah. And just really quick, and then I'll pick up. Like Elder Sensei, I work with him. You know, really good friend and stuff like that. L is like selling the merch, the artifacts merch, all the different things. But the thing I was telling him was, I love to see what he does to post. Like he actually takes the stuff to the post office, sends things all around the world. But he tags his graffiti tag on the actual postal packaging. And I'm like, that's art in and of itself. He tells me, like, people actually take the postal packaging and frame it. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, high art. Like, your scene stuff is amazing. The intricacies and he takes you into different worlds with his stuff. You know what I mean? And it could be anyone who hasn't seen this stuff has to definitely check it out. You know what I mean? But I'm happy we're getting back to that aspect of it. So
what you just said about Elder Sensei signing that, like you said, they frame it, because that sometimes means more than the album, them getting the album, because they actually have something personal from the artist. And that was my point of having Cannabis sign those straight jackets, because now there's a fan, actually the same fan bought both jackets. So now there's a fan with two unique things that nobody else in this world has. You know what I'm saying? So that alone is perfect at what Elder Sensei is doing.
As far as a budget for a project, for somebody who's just starting out, what number should that look like? Because I'm all over the place with that.
That's a very wide range question, but I'll jump in because I'm an artist and I just had to fund my own situation this year. I'm not gonna give you a number, man. I'm just gonna tell you this. I was actually in a room, a Clubhouse the other day, and there was an expert strategist in there, and you dropping some jewels, but he said this. And maybe the Mingo and everybody else will agree with this, but they say whatever you do spend on it, let that not be more than what you spend on marketing. So make sure that you have enough marketing, no matter what you spend on producing it. So just keep that in mind. And when I heard that, it made so much sense, because I know where you're probably at. You're thinking about getting it mixed and mastered. You're thinking about getting the artwork done. You're thinking about the actual product. But you got to have that back end money to not only launch it, but to keep it going and keep gas in the tank and keep the promo going and things like that. So it's all relative, because like I said.
Okay.
And definitely look to learn and do as many things for yourself as possible, right? Because there's plenty of people who, the music industry went through some consolidation, and there's new people. In fact, so there's a lot of people out there that's ready to take your money. You know what I mean? And to say, I'm going to promote you on a post. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you pay them and then they just mention you in a post. Like, really decide where you want the music to actually go, and look at the value of what you're actually paying for. Don't pay for something that you could do just as good of a job with, and then expand beyond that point and strategically put your money. Don't go for the hype stuff, because there's so many people that will take your money.
Yep. I would say exactly what Vice said. If let's just say, if you say, I got $5,000 for this project, make sure you at least got $5,000 to promote it. Or if you could spend less on producing the project and have more marketing money, because everything is marketing. Is how you push the product. So you can if you can do self, like Vice said, if you do it yourself, it kind of works out for you, because you did it, and you might have came across somebody, like I see a lot of people pay marketing people who claim they can do this, do that, and you pay them $1,000 and find out they really don't do nothing for you, and they just take your money and that's it. So you better off trying to master. I know it's not easy, but try to master all aspects of the business where you can become self-contained. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with what I do with my other company that's hip hop music. We're self-contained, and even Media Famous is self-contained. Like we do our own marketing and all that, so this way we know anything that we did wrong is us, and you know, we didn't spend much money on it because nobody has money to waste. You don't have money just to throw away. You know what I'm saying? But keep in mind, if you spend $5,000 on a let's say you want to get an artist, and I don't knock it, but if you want to get an artist that's asking you for $1,000 to get on your song, you got to look at that artist and go, okay, if I put out this, am I gonna make that $1,000 back with this artist? That's where you got to understand, is that worth it? You know what I'm saying? Because in this day of streaming, to make $1,000 back on streaming, shit, you better be streaming a hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the way Spotify came down on a lot of people a couple days ago, Spotify took down 750,000 songs for fake streams. So the way Spotify is coming down on people, I don't ever recommend doing the streaming playlist thing where you pay people, because 90% of that stuff is fake. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta like be very smart with what you're spending, and be wise of who you're working with as far as artists. If you feel you can't make that $1,000 back, you're better off keeping that $1,000 in your pocket, because once that's gone, that artist's not giving it back to you. So you budget correctly and see what things you can do yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's email blasts out there that you can pay for. There's things out there that are very worthy. But if you can learn to do it yourself, you'd be better off.
Much respect for all. You know, so I don't really have any questions. I mean, y'all answered everything for us that we could really possibly answer, especially with the business side of everything. But you know, I'm just honored to be here on this, you know, sitting on this panel, you know, with so many legends, and the information that is crazy valuable. So I just want to say thank you and much respect to you all.
Respect.
All right. I mean, I know it was kind of touched on already as far as approaching an artist.
All right, I'll answer this. I'll answer this one first. Yeah, I think one thing, just like Sean J had mentioned earlier, just first of all, when you approach somebody online, even though you're not talking to them in person, just be respectful. Like, act like you are talking to them in person. Introduce yourself. Maybe even give them props going on. One thing I can't stand is when somebody throws music in my inbox and I got my shit out and they ain't even telling me about my shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even acknowledging it. So yeah, that's just, you know, that's one thing that did I go out? Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's just one thing, is just, you know, treat people how you want to be treated as far as like your introduction. Whatever, I wouldn't flood anybody with a bunch of stuff. I would hit them with maybe one or two. Whatever you hit them with, let it be heat. Let it be your best. It's not even about sending them a whole bunch of things. Just whatever you send, let it be something that you think would fit their style. And if they like it, they will hit you back.
And one other thing I'd say real quick is rappers, they need beats, man. They want beats. Like, every rapper wants beats, right? Mm-hmm. At different levels, there may be different layers that you have to cut through to get to that artist. And there's a real big difference between trying to approach somebody like a West Side Gun directly versus somebody local on the scene. And I think I've seen a lot of success with people reaching out to people that are more attainable and able to be touched locally, and reaching out to those folks to say, hey man, I really, like Mike said, I really dig your music, would love to work with you. You know, here's a couple beats that remind me of something I heard from you, or that I think you would dig. Like, let me know. I would love to do a project together, and start like that, and start building up a reputation, because those folks are going to be the ones that are providing you to a new exposure beyond, as you just said, you're nobody. You're not a nobody, but you know what I'm saying? Anybody else that you're introducing yourself to and getting them to push your music is another person that's pushing your music and getting it to other people's ears that you weren't getting to previous. So if there's plenty of dope rappers. I mean, you know exactly where we live. There's dope rappers running in and out of this studio, that studio every week. And they may not be the ones that everybody's trying to get featured on a record. They may be someday. You know, they may come back around. And I know we're getting close to time, so I'll just kind of sum up everything that I've heard today. If nobody's taking away themes, man, invest in your craft. You know, like, don't put out product if it's shit. like put out the product that's good. That it's you're spending money on beats. You should be spending on money to get everything mixed properly and mastered properly and packaged together in your logo and the artwork, theme, and everything else. And like I said, treat it like a business, and that way people are going to take it more seriously. Gone are the days of being able to slip somebody a CD in the club and hope they pump it with your, and remember to call you with the number written on the CD. That's not happening. So yeah, just if this is really what you want to do, get out there and make it happen. And like I said, just invest in your craft and treat it like a business, and just recognize that, like everything else, it's an investment that needs to be made in a lot of different aspects, and that investment will come back.
Hey, I got a question, if you don't mind me putting it out there, and I'd actually like to ask this to Domingo, Sean J, as well as the engineers. What would you tell these producers as far as how important it is to have the best quality mix on beats that they submit to people? Like, I think that's always sort of in like a gray area. Like, a guy will make a beat. Like, at what level does it need to be if you're sending it to professionals? Like, does it need to be professionally mixed? Does it just do they need to just be able to get the gist of it? Like, how much do they need to invest into that before they start sending beats to people?
I think a lot of people that make beats, they have this fantasy or thing that it's got to be like banging in the red so the artist can feel it. Like, they put these maximizers on the beats and it damn near slams it where you can't even do nothing with it when you mixing it or mastering, because 99% of the songs now are just 2-track beats. So I think the best thing is to get the beat mixed by an engineer, somebody that knows how to mix, where they know not to slam the beat all the way to the red, and you get a better quality sounding song if it's mixed professionally, and it gives the artist a better sound, and the record don't sound like shit. You know what I'm saying? So you could do all your maximizing after you mix the record and get it up there a little bit. But a lot of these dudes that do beats, man, I don't understand the ideals behind, it's gotta be loud as shit. Like when I engineer some sessions at Soundmind Studios out here in the Poconos, and at 9 times out of 10, man, these kids that come in with these beats, A, they're off YouTube, and B, it's like, I'm like, I tell them like, dude, like if I lower this, it's still gonna sound distorted. So it's gotta be a certain level before 0, like still in green and mix. If you're not gonna give the artist the stem to mix, at least make the mix sound good. Get an engineer to do it.
Yeah, one of the best things I ever heard, Domingo, was a burnt steak is a burnt steak. If you want to cool it down, it still tastes like a burnt steak. So.
Yeah. Yo, dude, like I used to hear these beats and just sit there, and the artists be like, "Yo, can't you lower it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can lower it, but it's still gonna sound distorted."
Hey man, I've been trying to track down this joint, this KRS joint. I'm pretty sure that you did, and it's from like that unreleased album in like 90
Maximum
to
Strength.
98. So there's Maximum Strength, and I think it's a joint. But the joint I'm thinking is you. I think you sampled Apache, and is it called like Super MC or something like that? Where it's like it has more rhymes and the train's got tracks.
Oh no, you talking about Temple Tactics.
That's Temple. Okay.
Nah, actually, that's not Apache. That's actually a James Brown record. That it's just a little guitar chop off of a James Brown record.
Okay, well, see, I haven't heard it in like 20 years, so I was like,
no. And what's crazy is I put out these 2 albums called Sessions and Lessons, and it's on there on, I believe it's volume 2 or volume 1, but the version that they put out, that Fat Beats put out. First of all, I don't know how they got it from Jive Records, but whatever. But the version they put out is a short version. There's actually 4 verses to that. And I have probably the only copy that has all the verses. And it's called Temple Tactics. But Maximum Strength was an album that got scrapped. Maximum Strength is out there. If you really search for it, it's out there, but that's not the version. Yeah, The version that's out there is not the version we did. I did almost the whole Maximum Strength album.
Okay.
Like I had the cassette of it with all the songs I did, and
like Five Boroughs is supposed to be on there, right?
Yeah. 5 Boroughs, yep. And but that song is called Temple Tactics, and I thought, you know, it's funny when you said Apache. I just passed Hakeem Green from Channel Live. He's working on a dope album that's coming out dope with him and Ron Lawrence, the producer. And I did a song with KRS recently, as of, I'd say 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's called Keep It Going. He's rapping over Apache. So it's like, that's when you said that, I was like, wait, how did he get that shit? But it's like some new step into this world shit. Like, Chris really went in on this. And I was looking for it and I found it finally on one of my hard drives. But when you said Apache, that's why I looked at you like, wait a minute, what's he talking about? Because I know I didn't give that to nobody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's Temple Tactics. That's what it's called.
And that's what it was called originally, Temple Tactics?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like I said, if you look for the Fat Beats compilation that has the train on it,
right?
That it's on there. You know what I'm saying?
Because I remember it was one of those joints where, you know, when it came out, I was probably like 16 or something. So
right.
I had to. I remember like seeing it in the record store, but I had to pick, and I only had probably like $15 on me, so. Yeah. I had to, you know, maybe I picked this one instead of that one. And then never saw it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because Fat Beats put it out as a compilation, and it was only on that compilation, and it's never been out ever again besides what I released on the CD I put out. But you know, like I said, on the CD I put out is that extra verse. I mean, Chris went in on that verse. That's why I don't understand why they edited that out. You know?
Right. Okay, great. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, bro. All good.
Hey, so I just want to say thank you again to everybody. Domingo, Sean, Bing, Neil, White Soul Electric, AJ, as well as Jay Clyde, Sound Minds, and Phil. And we lost E21, but you know, shout out to everyone on IG Live as well. But again, I just want to say thank you to you brothers. We'll definitely have to do this again. This was just our first online workshop. You know, as you were saying earlier, you know what I'm saying, we always do this live. Well, we used to always do this live, so this is something new for us. But I'm going to try to get a few more of these organized. And that's it, man. If anyone has any questions for me, feel free. You know what I'm saying? You know where to reach me.
Good being with y'all, brothers.
Yeah. Same here. Yo, Sean, good seeing you. Vice, good seeing all
you too, man.
Yeah,
so, Kevin, I'd be interested in seeing your artwork, man, if you hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. And I appreciate me being invited and good talking with all y'all.
You too. All right. Have a good night.